Hi guys, I hope you're very well indeed. Happy Saturday to you. So today is all about healing your metabolism. So I have been very open about my Hirschsprung's disease, my bowel condition I was born with. I've been very open about my own kind of struggles with weight and shape, and I think that everything I've ever studied has been to help myself, and then in turn, I've then helped everybody else. So often, when people come to me, they are sometimes quite desperate to find something. They might have tried everything under the sun. They might have really, really gone for it with all kinds of different diets and exercise regimes, and discovered that it's just not working for them. Yeah. So I always say to people, the secret to it is finding a way of eating that's easy for you and your lifestyle. You have to fit it into your life, and you've got to work it around you. That's really easy to maintain. It's when you do things wildly outside of your lifestyle that's really, really hard to maintain, you know. So Anna is quite excited. I'm very excited. So I was given the options of, either quite severe operation or steroids. I chose the steroids, and that put some weight on me, and I've been kind of fighting a very slow metabolism ever since. And I know there's many people out there that maybe have the metabolism slow down just because they're getting older and more inactive, or maybe they've hit the menopause, or maybe they've been on meds themselves. That's caused issues with metabolic rate. Now, I often find that doctors aren't really very well educated in this, and a typical example of that was I was speaking to one of my clients the other day where the doctor said, well, actually, the bigger you are, the slower your metabolism is. Well, that's a complete lie. The bigger you are, the faster your metabolism is. So it should be the opposite way around. So if you have a low metabolism and you're bigger, that is out of whack. That's completely out of whack. So I'm now under the endocrinologist at the hospital, and we're getting somewhere. But me personally, I said to them, I will be doing everything in my power to correct this myself. Yeah. And so I just wanted to tell you what I've been doing and how it's helped me. And for those of you that really feel stuck, this may help you too. So I'm Anna Ferguson. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist. And among other things, I am course addicted, but I'm not a doctor, but I am a nutritionist. And I love studying the science of it all. They say that nutrition is the forgotten science. I think that's true. I think maybe our great grandparents knew all about this and used food to their advantage years ago. But that's not the case these days, and I think that needs to change. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is there may be quite a few of you out there that have been very athletic, maybe have trained to a very, very high standard, and now you're finding that you're putting on weight even though you're super active. You don't understand why you're not skinny because you're so active, you eat so well, and this may also be a problem. Now, people, if it was just calories in and calories out, we'd all be skinny minutes. And that is true. We would. That's if it was just about calories. There'd be one diet and that would be it, and we wouldn't have an issue whatsoever. But there's all kinds of things that can affect our metabolisms and how our body uses food. One of the things that really blows my mind is our body can decide how to use food depending on what emotional state we're in. Isn't that crazy? So if you're nice and relaxed and you're having a lovely meal and you're just chatting and you're social and you're relaxed and happy and you're eating slowly, that food probably is going to be digested and used and it probably won't touch you. But a lot of people stress eat, they frantically eat, they eat when they're in a poor emotional state, when they're upset, when they're angry, and the body is just going to store that food. It's just going to store it, and it thinks there's an emergency, you know. That really blows my mind, that little fact there. I find that very, very interesting indeed. So what I wanted to touch on today is the intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah. Now, intermittent fasting has got bad press over the years, but years ago probably everybody was doing intermittent fasting. It's just that now we can go to Tesco's 24/7, we can go to our fridge and open it, there's food there 24/7. Food is not in our Western society, it is not restricted to us at all. Whereas years ago, they probably went shopping every day, they just bought the food they needed and then they kind of cooked it that day. It was usually fresh, and they shared it out amongst people, so there was a little portion size going on. Whereas now, if we want to do a monthly shop, we can. You know, so people are now shopping in advance. They're not shopping on a daily basis. And you can have food as much as you like every day. So years ago, they were probably doing intermittent fasting naturally. So the idea of intermittent fasting is you fast for 16 hours, but most of that fast time is when you are sleeping. So that is most of your fast time. So if you stopped eating at 8 in the evening, you'd eat at 12 the next day. Yeah, but if you finish eating at 4 or 5, you could eat at 8 or 9 the next day. Yeah, so you're just giving yourself that 16-hour fast, and you can wrap it around your life any which way. I'm doing it every single day at the moment, but some people do it once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, every alternate day. Some people do it every day. Now, the reason why I'm doing it is my dodgy bowels love the rest. They love it. They love the rest. You know, I'm just resting my guts. And also, it probably takes me longer to digest my food. And so I'm giving the body the time it needs. Yeah. Now, it's just a window that you're giving yourself. So then between, say you were finishing at 8 and eating at 12, between 12 and 8, that's your window of eating then. So it's got nothing to do with what you eat. It's got nothing to do with how you eat. It's got nothing to do with calories. You're just giving yourself a window of time to eat in. And I find this really, really suits me. Yeah. For people who are grazers, or even diabetic, it may not suit you as much because you have to keep snacking and grazing throughout the day to keep your blood sugars stable. So it's definitely something that should be considered to see whether it suits you. Now, as I said, you will find that if you don't even change your diet and you just do that, you will probably drop a few pounds. Your blood sugars will stabilise, you'll probably sleep better. You're going to have knock-on effects with that. So check out the intermittent fasting. I never kind of say to people, jump straight into it. Just go an extra hour after you wake up, and then just go 2, and then, or just eat a little earlier, and just build it up. Do 12 hours, then do 13, and build up to the 16. That's a much more gradual approach, and probably your body will accept it much easier as well. So the other thing I've been doing is the ketogenic diet. Now, this has come into play in the last few years. How I've come across it is at nutritional conferences when they're looking at athletes' performance, yeah? So years ago, all athletes and myself as a dancer, we were told to carb up. You know, carb up before a race or carb up before a show, or 50 50 to 55% of our calories would be from carbohydrates because we needed energy and things like that. And that's what we were taught. We were taught to do that. And then the governments took a hold of this in the Western society, and they promote like a good 50% carbohydrate diet. If you go to your supermarket, you will see a whole aisle donated to pasta, to bread, to cereals. Everything is geared towards carbohydrates. I don't believe that they got it wrong all those years ago. I just think our food has changed. That's what I think. I think more processed foods have come in. A lot of high sugar foods have come in relation to carbohydrates, especially cereals and things like that. There's now sugar going into breads. It's crazy. And plus, if we make our own bread, it's stale after 2 days, whereas if it's on the shelf in the supermarket, it can last weeks. That's not natural. So it's been promoted. Even if you go to the Eat Well plate by the government, you'll see that they promote a high carbohydrate meal. Now, what scientists and researchers and nutritionists have discovered over the years is that a lot of athletes, even Olympic athletes, were becoming obese and diabetic later on in life. Now, these people were very active, they were very healthy. So why would that happen? Why would it happen? And so they decided to look into it because these people hadn't stopped exercising, they hadn't stopped eating healthy. And what they found was they were becoming insulin resistant or resistant to carbohydrates. Insulin in the system is your fat storage hormone, and also the hormone that rises and falls depending on what you're eating and your blood sugars and things. And diabetics are always trying to keep that insulin on a nice even keel for themselves, So the ketogenic diet came into play, and they kind of think that they've got it wrong now. So they're kind of saying putting carbohydrates into a human being for energy and performance is like putting diesel into a petrol car. The petrol car burns petrol. Yeah, it doesn't burn diesel. So human beings burn fat. Yeah, now they use carbohydrates, but the carbohydrates energy is like that. Fat energy is more consistent. Yeah, so now they're thinking, well, people are becoming resistant to carbohydrates, and then they're storing fat, and the insulin goes crazy, and all hell is breaking loose, and people that are actually eating really healthy and exercising really hard aren't getting the results that they want. For me, my hormones were not out of whack, and my cortisol is high. That's one of my stress hormones. And so actually my super active, high impact job wasn't conducive to lowering my cortisol levels or even, keeping myself nice and stable. So the ketogenic diet is a low carb, high fat, medium protein diet. It goes against everything we've ever been taught. So we've been taught that low fat is the way forward. We've been taught that carbohydrates are good for us, and they are in moderation. And we've been told that these days, especially with the outcome of the Atkins and things like that, that protein, it's all protein. But if you have a blood sugar issue, you will even convert protein into sugars. So this creates mayhem in the system, you see. So it's an actual wonderful way for me to eat. It suits me, and that is the secret to any diet. Every single diet out there works. Doesn't matter what it is, Atkins, ketogenic, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Rosemary Conley, low GI, you name it, all of them work. All the science behind them is truthful. It's just whether it works for your body. It's just whether you find it easy. Now, my whole aim in life presently is to heal my metabolism. Last year was particularly bad for me with extreme chronic fatigue, and I even was losing my hair. I was in a poor state, and I thought, that is it. I am health guru. I am going to sort this out, and with the help of the doctors now, thank God, I'm going to heal myself as well. So I'm using the intermittent fasting to rest my body a little bit, and also to put myself into fat burning. So we fat burn a lot when we sleep. Yeah, so most people think, oh, we're burning more calories when we're awake, but we're actually getting into fat burning zone when we're asleep. And I'm just extending that fat burning zone by a few hours every day. And what happens with the ketogenic diet is it takes 6 to 12 hours to burn off the carbs you've eaten, or, during the day. But a lot of people are eating such a high level of carbohydrates that they never really finish burning the carbs off and going into the fat burning kind of zone. And so when they wake up the next morning and have breakfast, they're still really burning the carbs from yesterday. They've never really got into that fat burning zone. And this does create a problem even if you're eating really healthy. As I said, the ketogenic diet suits me, and I think it will suit other people too, because human beings are designed to love fat. And food manufacturers know this as well. It's the reason why they inject, beef burgers with fat. It's the reason why they inject a lot of processed foods with fat. And people go, oh my God, that's so gorgeous. There's a reason for it. Is human beings love fat. We love it, but why wouldn't we love it if we are fat burning machines? Yeah. So for me, I'd lost the ability to burn fat. So it didn't matter if I did 8 hours of exercise a day. I was running on my adrenaline, I was running on my emergency fuel and my sugars. So I was crashing and burning once that ran out, and then I'd get the chronic fatigue. So I'd lost that ability to burn fat. So it didn't matter how little I ate, how hard I exercised, the body just really wasn't doing what it was meant to be doing. So let me give you an example of the ketogenic diet. And I have shared a little app that I've found on the iPhone called Carb Manager. And I'm using it, and I think it's really, really good. Everybody has a different carbohydrate tolerance. And, Dr. Atkins discovered this as well. It didn't help that he died at 25 stones. That didn't help him, right? But the science behind what he was studying was truthful. So now low fat is out the window on the ketogenic diet. It's full fat everything, full fat milk, butter, cheese, cream, everything is allowed. And we're looking at low carb. So I've still been eating bread, I've still been eating rice, I've still had some potatoes. I've kind of avoided the pasta, if I'm truthful, because that's really, really high in carbs. And I'm sticking between 30 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day to really get myself into a fat burning zone and make myself a fat burning machine. Yeah. So in the morning, I could have one slice of toast with a couple of eggs and butter. I can fry the eggs if I want. I've been having scrambled eggs recently. Or I can have low carb granola with Greek yogurt with some strawberries and peaches, or berries. Berries, strawberries and peaches are low carb fruits, you see. I've been having snacks like strawberries and cream. I've been having snacks like a couple of Baby Bells, We've discovered that goat's cheese is practically non-carb, so I've been having a few goat's cheese salads and meaty salads. I'm still having all my salads and veg. When it comes to veg in general, all the veg that grows beneath the ground tends to be higher in carbohydrates, and all the veg that grows above the ground tends to be lower in carbohydrates. and this just makes it quite easy to choose what veg you're going to eat. As I said, you know, I had a curry, but a couple of tablespoons of rice. When I have my eggs on toast, I have just one slice of toast instead of two. I have had a small amount of potatoes, but as I said, I've been kind of avoiding the pasta of late. Now, you're putting yourself into your fat burning zone by reducing your carbohydrates, and then you get into your fat burning zone quicker when you're sleeping, and then you're extending that fat burning zone before you eat again. So you can see how this helps. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to heal my metabolism. I'm trying to raise my metabolism. And if you notice, there's a lot of resting, isn't there? There's a lot of resting. I do not feel hungry on this diet. I don't feel hungry on it because fat satisfies the palate and it satisfies your hunger. So I'm not going, oh my God, I'm starving. It's none of that. I'm really enjoying, you know, eating this way. Eating full fat cheese and cream and full fat Greek yogurt and fruit and veg and meat and nuts and seeds. This is amazing to me. So this is gorgeous. It makes eating out quite easy. You can choose quite easily. You know, gone are the times where you're thinking, what is low calorie, what is low fat? We're not really focusing on the calories. You will find that you will naturally eat less calories, but you will be eating all gorgeous full fat stuff that really do the body some good. Now, when the body is crossing over from carb burning to fat burning, you have a day where you're like, oh, I'm so tired, and you will feel a great fatigue. But once you've crossed over into fat burning, your energy will raise and you will feel really, really good. Now, the other thing, the side effects that I have noticed, I've dropped 10 pounds quite quickly. I like that side effect. This is a woman that exercises every day of her life and eats very, very well, and yet my metabolism was broken and I was unable to lose weight. But I've lost 10 pounds already, and I'm hoping to take off another 2 stones, and this is the weight that I put on with the steroids. So I'm really happy, yeah. Now, the other thing, I've deliberately done this video. I am makeup free. I'm makeup free, right? So I'm makeup free. I have found a massive difference in my skin. The dark circles underneath my eyes have improved. I feel like even the little creases by the side of my eyes are better. And hey, if that's the side effect, that's amazing. The other thing is my nails are growing faster. I've noticed that, especially my toenails, which is weird. I'm not, even though I've dropped weight, I'm not worrying about the weight too much, because when you are doing the intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet, you are using your fat for fuel. And when you use your fat for fuel, that changes your shape, that changes your inches. And this makes like a massive difference to what you look like. And I always say, if we were, 65 stones but a beautiful hourglass figure, size 10, would we care? We would not. We wouldn't care at all. So for me, the part of me I'm always trying to shrink is my waist, because that's the area that swells when I'm not very well. The other part of me that I'm wanting to change is my back fat. I'm like a camel. I keep all my fat on my back. So this is what I'm after as well. And I have seen a decrease in these areas. Now, I've not done my measurements yet, but I am super excited because I can feel myself getting smaller. I think there was numerous factors that got me to this broken metabolism point. I think my Hirschsprung's disease didn't help. I don't think the meds helped. I really don't think the contraceptive implant helped that while ago. I think my very high impact exercise hasn't helped. In fact, I think it stressed the body out. I think my lack of sleep and my insomnia hasn't helped. I think my age, at the grand old age of 41 now, probably didn't help. So I think it's a multitude of factors that brought me to the point where the metabolism just went, do you know what? I'm not playing anymore. But I knew something was amiss, because you can't do 8 hours of exercise a day and eat really well and be gaining weight. And I think one of the things I said to the doctors is, I am doing a tremendous amount just to maintain. Just to maintain, not even to lose. I have to slog my guts out just to maintain. And that's when we knew that there really was a problem, along with the chronic fatigue, the hair loss, the digestive issues, the whole 9 yards. So I wanted to do this little video because if it's helped me, you can guarantee it's going to help someone else. I am not unique. There are other people out there just like me, yeah? And if you feel stuck and you think, oh my God, how am I going to move forward from this? I can't even lose an ounce, you know? And you become despondent, and you're tired and you run down and you just think, oh, what the hell, you know? I've been there, I know what it's like, yeah? So I would not even attempt the ketogenic diet yet. I would just get started on some intermittent fasting if it suits you, if it suits your blood sugars. A lot of people that come to me that say, you know, I'm really trying to lose weight, and one of the first questions you'll hear me ask is, do you feel hungry? And often people go, no, not really. I'm still not got to that point. I'm still not feeling hunger. I think I could go 20 hours. I wouldn't feel hunger. So when the body starts to feel hungry and you can feel the difference, that's when you know the metabolism is ticking over. Because you should feel hunger. You should never fear hunger. That's your metabolism working. That's how it should be, you know. So I would start just by extending your fasting time by an hour. You know, just start from there and take it gradually. And then if you can do the 16 hours with an 8-hour eating window, you may find that corrects a lot of problems. There's a reason why I ask people to reduce their carbohydrates in the evening. I'm actually wanting you to get tired and go to sleep and have a great night's sleep. Sleep is really an issue for me, and so when I meet someone else and I go, are you a good sleeper? And they go, not really, I know then that they're not really getting into that fat burning zone, you know. And then we have to correct that, and so that's why I ask many people in detox week to reduce their carbohydrates in the evening, so that they can go to sleep, have a nice sleep, get into the fat burning zone a little bit quicker. And often that is enough to rectify situations. Then from there, I'm using the ketogenic diet to soothe and heal my poor broken metabolism after all these years of training and dieting. Excessive dieting can break a metabolism as well. Just be aware of that. So it's a high fat, low carb. If you have high fat and then you eat too many carbs, that won't work. You are just going to get fat. So it's high fat, low carb, and medium protein. If you want some more information on what I am doing to heal myself, and you think this is something that would help you, speak to me about it. I will gladly help. But what I've found over the years is that the secret to your weight loss, to healing your metabolism, is finding out what works for you. And when the detox week comes and I'm texting everyone how you're feeling, how you're doing, all the 9 yards like that, I am looking to see how your body works. So then for some people, a low saturated fat diet would work really well. For others, it's Atkins. For others, it's a GI plan. For others, it's the ketogenic diet. But when I give them the diet, the most common thing I hear from people is, well, shouldn't this be harder? It's a bit easy, this, isn't it? But that's because it suits them. Yeah, so we've got to wrap it around you, and we've got to find what suits you. So I've spoken about what I'm doing and what's suiting me presently, but our bodies change, they evolve, you know. I might have to change and evolve too. What worked for us in our 20s doesn't work for us in our 40s. The body changes, you know. But if anything that I've said you've been able to relate to, as I said, I don't think I'm unique at all. I think there's many people out there like me. Then drop me a line, anna@fitness-fusion.co.uk, and I can talk to you. I know that this video is going out to a lot of my transform ladies. If any of this sounds familiar to you, you know, just get in touch with me. And if you would like to check out the app called Carb Manager on the iPhone App Store, check it out. I'm sure there's an Android version, but it just makes life a little bit easier, doesn't it? When you've got something else counting for you. I won't be on a super low carb diet forever. You'll get to your goal, and then the experiment will begin where you build up your carbs, and the week you put weight on is the week that you know where your carb tolerance is. So it's like a little giant experiment, really. So I hope you're very well. I hope I didn't scare you with my non-makeup face. But I just wanted to prove a point. We do not want a diet to make us look like hell. We want it to make us look good. We don't want exercise to kill us. We want it to make us feel and look good. And that is the aim of health. I hate it when people get to that special number on the scales and they look like hell. I don't see the point, you know. So I hope you're very well today. I'm here to help if I can. I'll put some links underneath this when I've finished. But have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.